What is up, guys? Wolfgang here. So today I wanted to make a video on the Guardian Games weapons. Now I realized these were on D2 Foundry and Light GG, so I wanted to make a quick video because I'm quite excited for at least two of the three. So let's get into it. Now, first things first, there are basically two combos I really want. One of them is more for the gun itself. Just knocked my mouse across the table. Anyways, Crystalline Corpse Bloom plus the beautiful Chaos Reshaped. So if you don't know, Chaos Reshaped originally only came from the Salvation's Edge weapons from the raid. So that's why it was pretty, I guess, kind of rare because you could only get it on those weapons. But now we've seen it come in several different weapons. For example, Yuletide Apex, the SMG from Solstice. It's probably one of its best rolls is with Chaos Reshaped. Or really, endgame, its best roll. So Chaos Reshaped is a really, really good perk, and I'm excited it's going to be on more weapons, or another weapon in this case. And so yeah, it's definitely a plus. It's activated like Frenzy, just stay in combat for a certain amount of time. And then when you get your first stack of Chaos Reshaped, it's a 20% damage bonus. And then after a little bit longer, it's going to be 35% damage bonus, and it heals you, which is really good. It gives a little bit of healing. So it's just a really good perk, and Crystalline Corpse Bloom is just, creating stasis crystals around the map. More random than Headstone, as Headstone is you get a precision kill and it spawns a crystal on the spot where you get that kill. So Crystalline Corpse Bloom is a little bit more random, but I think it could be a lot of fun. It could add a lot of AoE to your build. So that is the first combo I'm going for. The second one, and as always, I want to get all of these perks on a single gun, would be Grave Robber 1-2 Punch, as I believe its best competition currently would be, let's give it a quick check on the kinetic spread shot, which I forgot its name, so we'll just look it up like this. And cannon, Aria's Neutralizer, is it not? There it is. So I guess Aria's Neutralizer is competition, as it can get the same combo. However, Aria's Neutralizer is from Trials, and you can no longer get it, at least currently. At least in my case, it's definitely better to get this to go for Triple Laureate, which also I really like the name, even though I don't know if I'm fully pronouncing Laureate correctly, but I'm going to assume I am. The other benefit it has over Aria's Neutralizer is that it's stasis, so it'll give you more darkness energy. Kinetics will give you both light and dark, so I definitely think that Triple Laureate is going to be better in at least a prismatic build, yeah. Then, of course, there's other combos for PvP. I won't really talk about those as I'm not qualified really to talk about them. Trench Barrel, in my opinion, is kind of a waste on Spreadshot hand cannons. Primaries are not in a great spot right now, so I would not worry about Trench Barrel. The main things you want are Grave Robber 1-2 Punch, as well as Crystalline Corpse Bloom Chaos Reshaped. The next weapon is the Beacon. This is a rapid-fire fusion rifle, and they're not in the best spot right now, but these fusions, well, they're pretty fun to use. This one specifically, it seems you might be able to get Deconstruct twice in a single roll. That'll be fun. But anyways, these are not the best DPS, but I believe the only really roll you're looking for on this weapon is, well, it's DPS roll. Envious Arsenal bait and switch. If they ever get buffed again and they become the meta, or the meta of fusion at least, it's a pretty good thing to have one, as you would want to use a fusion with a damage over time weapon, so it's like a secondary damage while the first, or your primary, or I guess in this case heavy damage, is going on. So you can use it with something like Finality's Augur, and since it's going to be solar, you can, surge match. So this is a pretty good thing to have on hand. The one sad thing for me is that this one does not get something like Discord and Incandescent, like the Raid one does. I believe it's Finite maybe that gets that roll. So unfortunately, this one doesn't get that roll. It's not as fun, but there is a point to be made for Burning Ambition. On specials, I believe it applies more Scorch attacks. I'm not really going to even read into it, as I don't really find this useful as a Titan. I think it's better on Warlocks. So Burning Ambition might be a thing. Don't take my word for it, though. Controlled Burst as well is a good option for damage. and well, lead from gold for general ammo. But mainly, you just want to use Arsenal bait and switch. And now the last one for gutting games. This is a refurbished or returning weapon. Is Keraunios, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly either. This one, I made a mistake last time I farmed it. I went for, I believe it was eddy current jolting, but overflow was definitely the move, as for the most part, trace rifles, I only use them for mechanics, as they're really good with ammo. And, if you got to shoot stuff to proc a mechanic, you can spend very little ammo and then swap to another special and still have most of your ammo. So that's my main use for trace rifles, and definitely my main use for Keraunios. And then I saw the beautiful roll, which we love from our dungeon trace rifle. I forgot what it's called as well. But here it is, Unsworn. So the Unsworn, if you don't know, is probably the best trace rifle in the game, aside from its subjugation origin trait is insanely good, as it's basically explosive payload, or it applies, what was it called? Not sever. But it makes exhausted. So it makes larger targets exhausted. So shoot to loot, detonator beam. A lot of people farm for this thing for a really long time, and it is such a good roll. And luckily, Keraunios gets the exact same roll, which is an S tier roll, and I'm definitely going for this. However, there are a couple more perks I would like on the same roll of this weapon. I'm definitely also going to try to go for overflow to, make my mag larger if I'm doing mechanics, and I'm not too concerned about shoot to loot. And of course, I really want jolting feedback. Jolting feedback is just a generally really good perk. Applying jolt is amazing, so these are kind of the 4 perks you're really going for on the Keraunios. There are a couple different niche options you could go for. Trickle charge with a Storm's Keep barricade, really good. Force time to charm if you can keep hitting precision hits, very good. As well as killing tally, which with force times has a pretty interesting synergy that you could go on. But realistically, I'm only going for these 4 perks on one single roll of the weapon. In terms of battery and mag, I don't mind too much. I would like arrowhead, since I will be using shoot to loot to reduce the recoil direction, but realistically it'll be fine. So yeah, these are the Guardian Games weapons. Let me know what you'll be going for, if you have any different roles you're looking for. And excuse my slightly sick voice, but I was really excited to make a video on these weapons, and yeah, have a good day. Do all the YouTube stuff in the bottom, and yeah, see you guys later.